Hello, Mr. Ferraro. It has been too long. It's been a long time.
Great to see you again. How's it going? Got a little mood lighting going on?
I do. I'm trying to eliminate the glare from the top of my head. So I think if I just sit like this.
Yeah, you're looking good. You're looking sharp. You got definitely a demanding question for tonight, so I don't even know
I
how you're going to go about it.
I do have a demanding question, so why don't we just get right into it?
Go ahead, read the question and let's see what we have to give off advice-wise.
All right. Common App, essay prompt number 3. Reflect on a time when you challenged a belief or idea. What prompted you to act? Would you make the same decision again? Mr. Ferraro, any comments on this for our viewers today?
The first comment is a question, and it's, I wonder how many people are thinking about trying this one. Right off the top of their heads, gut feeling, what would you say the student the philosophy would be about trying this question?
I say there will be 3 students between the two of us who attempt this question. And that's too bad because it's a great question.
It is. It's scary, and anything scary is usually worth doing. But I don't know where you go with this one because you have to balance that line between whining, being, for lack of a better term, a jerk.
Yeah, you don't want to look like a jerk.
We got to
Right?
be real about it.
Why do you challenge this belief? Do you do it to annoy people and just ruffle some feathers, or do you do it because it's something you truly believe in? And again, it runs the gamut from, whole beliefs of entire systems or cultures, or it can go to your own personal beliefs. There's nothing in there that says it can't be challenging a belief that you held yourself for so long. And it also doesn't say you had to be successful in your challenge. You could have failed, or you could have seen your challenge defeated. It doesn't have to be a successful endeavor, I guess.
Yeah, I think an important part of this question is making sure you understand that it's not something that has to be a mini revolution. It can't. It doesn't have to be something that started a movement.
And the thing, I keep coming back to this in every video, don't do the cliche. What is everybody else or I guess, what are the 3 people who write this essay going to write about? Oh, I
I don't.
didn't want I didn't want the school to wear sandals because it was stupid and we got it changed. Okay. The Is that really what they're looking for? And I think the key word here is reflect. This is an introspective essay that gives you really ultimately what is not on your resume. This is the most reflective and the most introspective essay, I think, on the list because it asks you to do some soul searching and to really define your values as a person. And that really has, I think, the potential to let college recruiters and admissions counselors see who you really are and decide, is this the kind of person I want in my institution? And if the answer yes, then you've got a pretty good story to share.
Yeah, it's a time where someone said the rule was this or the expectation was this, and that wasn't okay with me. But here's how I handled it, and here's how I spoke about it, and here's how I advocated for myself or for someone else. And I think you also touched on another piece that's a thread throughout all the essays, which is it is not a recitation of your resume. It is not the activity sheet. None of these. These are pointed questions that are narrative essays, and in most cases. And you don't want to say, when I was in ninth grade, I did this, and when I was in 10th grade. I mean, the word count alone is going to eliminate that. You hear a word count and you say, oh, I don't know how I'm going to ever make it that long. These are short essays. These are very short essays.
650 words tops, maximum 650 on the Common App. I also want to mention this is a good time to remind you that if there's anyone actually watching live, I don't know if there is, we do have the Q&A app all set up. So if anybody is watching and does want to submit questions through Google Plus, you can do that. I couldn't begin to tell you how to do that. All I know is I have it turned on and I have it here to see if anybody sends me a question. Now that I've digressed a little bit, Mr. Ferraro, I'm going to ask you a question and put you on the spot, as you
Oh
did to me
boy.
many moons ago, a long time ago. What would you write about for this essay?
I'll tell you
Mr.
this.
Ferraro writes this essay.
Well, if I'm being honest, I can't do this essay probably because I'm a complete rule follower, and you know this to be true. I'm not someone who challenges authority. I'm someone who follows the rules. So I wonder if there's a chance that I could spin that into something creative where, and I'd have to really read the words by the letter of the law, but could I write something about how I've regretted not doing anything? I don't know if it says that here. I might have to write that under the failure essay. But
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
I think the third part of the question asks, would you make the same choice? And I think you can definitely manipulate the essay question. Say, you know what, I wished I had challenged it. I challenged it in my brain and I challenged it in my heart, but I never spoke out because I was
Yeah, exactly. That's the way to make this an artistic answer. I like that. But the truth is, I know myself very well, and it's something that I struggle with. I don't challenge authority, and I am a rule follower. And you can say that's my background or my personality or whatever it is. Maybe it's to a fault. Maybe it's for good. So that would be something. And it actually leads me to a point that I like as one of my tricks of the trade. When you're doing the college essay, it's easy to say, all right, let me look at what question I want to do. But another thing to say is to kind of work a different angle and say, what do I want to write about? And then what question does it answer? And it's not always going to work perfectly, so you may have to tweak it a little bit and just change it ever so slightly. But if you know that you want to tell the story of blah, look at which question that would most fit. Because a lot of times I will get essays I'll say, well, which question did you do? And they'll say topic of my choice, which I don't even know if I don't think that's one of the options anymore. But they'll say, oh, topic of my choice, and I'll say, okay, well, which one is it? Well, no, it's my choice. It does have to have a focus, but maybe you can start to think about which one it would fit in best with. So that's a long answer of saying I'm not going to say I'm a conformist, but I am going to call myself a rule follower.
absolutely a little bit of the Winston Smith in you there, as in All of Us, 1984 reference for those of you who might have read that. But I think you've just given the best advice in this video series between the two of us, and that's write the essay or come up with the story first and then revise it to fit the question you think it fits best. Because sometimes the question, your gut instinct, I want to do this question, doesn't work out. And that's when people come to me with 30 different essays. That was a hyperbole. But many different essays, unhappy with all of them. Or the opposite is, I just don't know where to start. Well, start with something. Start with the first question, a story that you have to share, and see if it really fits into any of the other ones. Because I'm with you, Mr. Ferraro. I don't necessarily know that I don't have a story that would go with this question, but I would not want to respond to this question.
Yeah, and we're trying to be realistic with you guys. We don't want to tell you what questions to do, not to do, but if you're looking for advice, there are ones that are difficult and then ones that are not. But I love the point maybe that we arrived to circuitously tonight, which is you're stuck, you're lost. Mr. Cooper, I don't know what to do. I would say Brian, Stacy, Jill, what? I don't even know if we have those students, but it sounded generic. What do you want to write about? Well, I really want to tell the story about when I blah, 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 or when I visited, or when I failed to do. Okay. Well, I don't know if it fits quite into question 3. That's not the issue here. Let's write a dynamite essay and figure out where it goes.
And to write that dynamite essay, we're working on those drafts, folks. We are definitely not handing in the first thing that we wrote down. But yeah, this is really a brutal question. It's just a brutal one. It's a great question. It's just brutal, especially for people who are a little shy and don't want to really be that introspective and share everything about themselves. This is really about, am I happy with the choices I've made? Should I have done this? And how do I feel about it now? And, it's easy to write an essay about you challenging a belief that turns into rebel without a cause. It's easy for those of us who defied all our teachers and our parents just for the sake of being a teenage rebel to write about this, and now it makes you look a bit like a loose cannon, and that's what I'd be afraid of.
Yes, and that leads me to my challenge of the night. It's a new tradition here on the Hangout. I'm going to leave you students with a challenge. You're lost. You haven't started. You're going to take out a piece of loose leaf. That's the paper with the lines in it. You're going to write your name at the top, and then you're going to write the sentence that says, the one thing I really want the college to know about me is, and you're going to finish that sentence, and it sounds very basic, but by the end of that sentence, the answer is going to lead you into the next phase, which is, how do I show them that? So I want them to know. Go ahead.
No, you finish your thought. Finish your thought.
I want them to know that I'm a leader. Okay, great. A lot of people think they're leaders. What story in 650 words or less will let the college know that you're a leader?
And it can't be the story of you're the president of 4 clubs, because that's on your resume.
Yes.
That is on your application already. So it's not you know, I'm the president of these clubs, but that one time in this one place where I stepped up as a leader is the better story than here's everything I've done.
And this is a great time to remind you, I've been getting a couple of emails about summer reading suggestions, not for incoming seniors, but incoming juniors and whatnot. And I wonder if that makes the seniors think, oh, wow, we're so lucky. Well, whatever way you want to look at it, let's get cracking on the college essay.
If you want my quick recommendation, I still have my Blood Meridian logo up next to my name. Interestingly enough, James Franco just released his film version, limited release,
Really?
of Child of God by Cormac McCarthy, and he released a 32-minute test reel of footage from a possible Blood Meridian movie. I don't know if I'd be happy with either of them. I think Blood Meridian is absolutely unfilmable, but that is my recommendation.
That leads me to think of my anti-recommendation, which is anything with James Franco, because I think that even though I liked his work in 127 Hours, my wife went to see him on Broadway playing George from Of Mice and Men, and she came back a little bit too much with a twinkle in her eye, and from now on, James Franco is on the blacklist of my family.
I see. He was that good, huh?
I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, we're going to keep this one shorter than 17 minutes, so unless you have anything else to add, Mr. Ferraro, I'm going to sign out on this. And again, our email address is jferraro@valhallaschools.org, cooper@valhallaschools.org. Don't forget, there are 2 C's in that email address. Or just email us at valhallaenglish@gmail.com. Post your questions in the comments. I'm noticing many views of these videos, no questions. So post them there. Feel free to comment. We will get back to you within a reasonable amount of time.
Yes, and if the Google Hangouts are not answering your questions, put those politely in suggestions, and then you can use them as your essay of the time that you challenged authority.
Well, I had fun here tonight. Best part of my summer.
I feel very animated for some reason, and I wish you would do.
Take care.